makers, welcome to Always Yarn First, a podcast about knitting, crochet, spinning, and all the yarny goodness in between. I'm Lindsay, and I'm coming to you from Little Rock, Arkansas. And as always, you can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Always Yarn First. Welcome! This is episode 30. Today is February 4th, 2023. I'm very feeling out of sorts today. I'm filming a lot later in the day. Usually I film in the morning. My mind is always fresher in the morning, but we were out this morning, so it's almost 4 o'clock, and I feel like that's when my brain starts to slow down. So let's get on with it. Before we start the episode, I always like to talk about some admin things. So first of all, there's a couple make-alongs. First is the one I'm co-hosting this year with my friend Lori, which is the hashtag Nothing But Double. We are making blankets again this year, and you can make any blanket, knit, crochet, and you just have to hold yarn double. You can marl it with a different yarn, or just hold it double like I'm doing, and make a blanket. Use the hashtag on Instagram, or you can go to Arkansas Yarn Co. Ravelry and post finished object pictures. And then I am hosting a February only make-along, and this will be on Ravelry only. So I'm just hosting a little make-along called Finish It in February. So basically the only requirements is it has to already be on your needles or hooks before this month. Maybe it's an advent you haven't finished yet. Let's finish it up in February. Let's get some things off the needles. Let's get some things off the hooks so we can start some fresh projects and cast on all the things. So, like I said, it's on my Ravelry page. There is a thread for FOs. So finish any finished object. Now, let's be reasonable. If you were literally binding off when you were watching this, maybe not. But I am up for whatever type of thing you are finishing. It has to be already started. And then at the end of the month, I will pull a prize from that thread. Speaking of prizes, I have 2 winners to announce this week. The last 2 podcasts, I mentioned 2 different giveaways. So let's start with the oldest one. 2 podcasts ago, I was giving away this wonderful, charming used skein of yarn that Maureen donated to me. This is on the Lush sock base, which is 85% merino, 15% nylon 4-ply, and it is called Midnight Serenade. And I used a random comment generator, and the winner is Sarah Brant. So congratulations, Sarah. And then the last podcast, I received something from Jessalyn, Janice. This is a project bag plus a skein of her yarn. This yarn is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, in the colorway Tom Meets Yarn. This one's so pretty. So the winner of this is Samantha Fraley. So Sarah and Samantha, congratulations. Please send me an email at AlwaysYarnFirst@gmail.com and give me your mailing address, and I can get these out the door to you. So, all right, now let's get into the podcast, shall we? As always, if you're new here, I like to name my podcast episodes off of song titles. I am a huge music fan of mostly all genres, and I always find that there's a song lyric or title that speaks to me with whatever's going on. And so this one, I decided on Electric Love by Bjorns. And you'll see why in just a second when I show you a finished object. So I have linked a Spotify to that song if you want to listen to it and you haven't before. And what we're going to do today is I'm going to go over what I'm wearing, finished objects, new cast-ons, whips, spinning, and goals for January, February. So I will have timestamps to each if you want to skip around. But let's get into what I'm wearing. I am wearing the Autumn League pullover. This pattern is by Alexander Tavel. Love this pattern. It's meant to be like a sweatshirt. It is. It's so cozy. I made this when it was, the pattern itself was to be knit flat, but I had no problem just keep on knitting in the round. But now I understand that she has updated the pattern for knitting in the round instructions. So I will link to my project page in case you have any questions about my yarn or anything. Yeah, so I have 2 finished objects. I'm going to start with the smaller one first, although both of them really kind of have some electric color in them to go with my title. So this one, I think I showed as a new yarn acquisition last podcast. This is from Fiber Junkie, Rania. This is her Electric Boogaloo color. And look at how fun this is in this headband. This is the woven cable headband, and this is my favorite headband. It is so easy. It is so quick. It is knit flat. I believe the pattern, it is a free pattern, and I believe the pattern is meant for like Aran weight, which I think the first one I made I did do, but then the second one I did a DK and it was just fine, and this is a DK weight and it's just fine. And I kept to the same instructions. And I love it because I am a person, when it's cold, I have to have my ears covered because I get ear problems easily. I like it that it doesn't like keeping the rest of my head too hot though, just my ears. So I just thought this was a super fun colorway, and I have so much yarn left, I can make a few of them and give them away as gifts, and fun. So definitely be seeing more of these headbands because I love this pattern. It's just knit flat and then seamed together at the end. Yeah. So, are you ready for the big one? I didn't wear it on the podcast because last time when I was showing this, it was so blown out. And I actually shot a video with Lori yesterday, which is already up on my YouTube. And I just look so blown out. But this is done. Well, there is one end I must have missed right there. But this is the Lawrenson sweater. This is by Lily Kate Makes. And I got a specialty dye from Lori of Arkansas Yarn Co. This is in her Yummy DK base. And she already had a hot pink, but I said, no, I need like electric glow in the dark pink. And this is what she came up with. And she named it shockingly. So if you can see here, it's kind of the froofy up here, and then like massively decreased like a balloon. I didn't do mine quite as long as the pattern. I think after all the short rows, you do like 6 inches, and I only did like 3. I was worried a little bit that I was going to run out of yarn. This is what I had left. And I don't like long sleeves. So this comes like right before. You can see this one. This is kind of like my elbow area is like right where I like my sleeves. So this one comes up right before it, which is perfect. So yeah, I love this. This yarn is so squishy. And I mean, hello, can you see why I named this episode Electric Love? Just, oh. Yeah. So that is done. And what's even more exciting is this is my 3rd item off of my WIPs Make 9 board for the year. So I made 2 Make 9 boards, 1 WIPs that were on my needles from last year, and then 1 of fresh things I hadn't started yet. This is my 3rd finished object from my WIPs board. So 3 out of 9, and I'm super stoked about that. So those are my 2 finished objects. All right, so I've cast 2 things on. One I just did this morning. It is in this bag by Kelly E. McD on Instagram. I will link to her Instagram. She doesn't have a shop. You just kind of see what you like on Instagram and message her. So I went with my daughter this morning to an anime fest downtown. And I knew I was going to need something small. I pretty much knew I needed a vanilla sock. So I quickly cast one on. I just got this like little blue from my scraps, my fingering scraps. And then I cast on this color. I had posted a picture on Instagram and said, I need to cast on a sock. What should I pick? 3 people responded. Everyone picked a different one. And I picked none of those. So this one is Tiny Human Knits. I love her sock yarn. She does 50 gram, which is perfect for me because I like shorter socks. So I think what I'm going to do is because I was in Texas a week ago visiting friends, and I only brought a couple projects, which was great. I got a lot of work done on those projects, but I didn't bring like a sock, a small project, small vanilla project. And so when we would go out, I'm like, I can't really bring this sweater. Like, it's going to be too big. So I think what I'm going to do, because it's a 50 gram, I'm just going to knit this into a big tube and then finish it again with ribbing. And then I did 2 rows of the blue and then cut it for the heels and toes. So I will have a easy vanilla project because I just cast it on just for the need of a small project. So I'm not like in need or hurry of these socks. So this is going to be my on-the-go purse travel knitting. So, and that is in the colorway Confetti. So yeah, I cast that on this morning. And then I cast this one on the other day. So this is in another Kelly E. McD bag. This one I just saw she brought to our knit night. She always brings bags she has available, and I just had to get it. My daughter loves mushrooms, and she doesn't knit and crochet as much anymore, but she shares my project bags when she does, and I thought it was cute too. So I think I might have mentioned this project. Yes, I know I did. On future makes. I don't really have a picture of it here. I will insert a picture here of the Bikey beanie. This is just a simple beanie. It's one size. And it's in fingering weight, and it has a bike print in it. My husband is big into cycling, and he cycles with a bunch of guys. And I had showed all that Malabrigo I had gotten when it was on sale. And my goal was to do some different colored hats and then gift them to the guys that he cycles with. But I'm starting with yarn that is in my stash that my husband picked. This is a Mustache Yarns, just her gray base. I think it's charcoal. I'm not positive about that, but and her perfect sock you can get to coordinate with all her self-striping yarn. And then this is leftover I had from my Elton cardigan. This is Woolfolk 10, and it's just colorway 1. So I'm not super far. I was further. I was into the bikes, and then something went wrong, and I was so frustrated trying to figure out what it was that I just ripped my needles out and went back to where the stripes are. So pretty much there's these 2 stripes in the white, and I'm getting ready to do my color work with the bikes next. So I'll do the bikes across and then do the 2 stripes again and then just finish out the hat. So yeah, not much to show, not too bad. I actually did this pretty quick. Because I didn't want to tell the bike guys that I was making them all hats, because then I'm like, then I'm going to feel pressured, and it is fingering weight hats. So I didn't want to feel like I had to hurry. But yeah, I'm liking this. I'm hoping this next time I can make sure my count is right. I'm going to give it a quick count all the way around to make sure I have the correct stitch repeat so many times before I start, because if I need to fudge, add or subtract a stitch to make that correct, I will do that. So that is my other cast on. Okay, carefully put all these back. All right, so finished objects done, new cast-ons done. So what else have I been working on? So I just restarted on these. So for my Whips Make 9 board, what I've been doing, which has been working well, is I do the 30 minutes a day, essentially. Like I said, I'm better in the morning time, so when I get up early and I get my cup of coffee before I eat breakfast, I like to watch podcasts and work on something. So the first thing I touch in the morning is my 30 minutes a day. And so what I'm doing is whatever one project I'm focusing on from my Whips Make 9 board, that's the project I'm working for the 30 minutes a day. Now I can work past the 30 minutes if I'm enjoying myself, but I'm devoting at least 30 minutes a day because there's some things where I am mostly a process knitter. That's why I have so many projects on my needles. I just enjoy knitting. But there's some projects that I am like, okay, I just want this item, but I am not having fun doing it. So that's where that 30 minutes really comes into play, is when I'm like, okay, I just want to be done with this already. But the Lawrenson was my 30 minutes a day, but that's obviously finished. So I have everything from that Whip Make 9 in its own cubby over here, and I'm only pulling one out at a time and doing it till it's done. So my next one that you've seen before, but it's been a while, is just a vanilla sock. This, I'm calling it my Night Owl socks because it is by Night Owl Fibers in the Barn Owl sock base. And this is the colorway Sarcasm. And I love this. So this is the last time I showed it, where my progress keeper is. So I just got a little bit done. And I'm almost to the toe. I think I had measured here. It was like 1 inch I needed from this marker. And this is a vanilla sock, which means I'm not doing a pattern. But again, I mentioned before, what I do is every time the new color starts, I will knit 3 and then slip a stitch. And then knit 3 and slip a stitch. One whole circle around wherever I start doing the color. And that gives it that nice, fun little detail to just kind of up its game a little bit. But it's not a pattern. So yeah, I'm excited to do this because it's socks. Again, it's shorty socks. I don't know why I just procrastinated on this. This is easy. I like the self-striping. I love the colors. Just other things got more exciting, I guess. So I think that I will finish this and then start the next one pretty quickly, especially with 30 minutes a day. Because with this, I can very much just get into whatever I'm watching and just knit. So that's kind of a new pickup again. All right, what else have I worked on? Okay, so I have a half-finished object. I have a DK vanilla sock. So let me show this here. Last time I had shown 2 sock tubes, essentially. This one and this one. It just needed 2 heels. So I did cut this, put in the heel, and finish the one sock. I was hoping to yesterday do this so that by the podcast I'd have another finished object. Didn't happen. I have it marked where I need to cut. It'll get done in the next couple of days. So no problem. I am gifting these to a friend who lives in Iowa, who I usually stay with every time I go visit my grandma. She's super sweet, and I'm going to be up there again in a few weeks. So I just wanted to get these done before my next trip up there. And they will be done. And the yarn for this is Legacy Fiber Arts in the colorway Dragon Eggs 2. And the bag I'm using for that is Knit for Brains, Laura. Care Bears bag. And the yarn I'm using is just a Patton's Croy. I held it double since I'm doing DK sock. And it's just in the colorway Muslin. Okay, moving right along. All right, so this big boy, you guys know this is my By the Bay bag co. It's the El Grande bag. This is housing my yearly blanket that I'm making with Lori. I haven't made any progress because I just got February's yarn yesterday, which I'm going to take out to show with acquisitions. So I haven't done that blanket, but because my blanket I'm doing for my make-along doesn't use much yarn, I wanted to use more. This is the January colorway. And so I am also making leisurely the Creative Advent Throw. This was a pattern that came out this Advent season by Cozy Up Knit Girls. I love their podcast. And it's essentially, and it is a free pattern too. It's essentially a pattern for 3 different patterns of squares. And then you put them together. So I decided to every month pick 2 of the 3 patterns to make with each month color. Now this is going to look crazy because I just finished binding off last night. I have to block it before it looks anything like a square. But yes, this is my square with the January colorway. So I'll have to pick one of the 2 other ones and make another square. All right. What else do I have? I have 2 more. So this I cast on beginning of this year, I think. It might have been the end of last year, but I have it on my Make 9 for, new stuff, things that haven't been lingering because I just recently cast it on. But I don't know why. This is one that is kind of like just taken forever in my head right now. I don't know if it's because I just finished up 2 DK weight sweaters. So those seemed so much faster. And this one is fingering weight. And I'm just still doing increases. And it feels like I've been doing increases for years. And I'm still not there. It doesn't look good because I need to go up to get a bigger cord. I have them all scrunched. But this is the Bright Side by Espace Tricot. Again, another free pattern. I love this color though. And this is, I'm not adding in different balls of color. Maybe I should, because look at all the variegation just in this one skein. But I love the color, love this color. And so this one I can just tell is going to be on my needles for a while. Maybe if I get past the sleeve separation, again, it'll still be just knitting, but that's easy to do at night when you're watching TV with family. This one, like, I'm constantly questioning if I'm on the right repeat row of the increases. And so I kind of have to pay attention. And then I'm always constantly like, oh, do I have enough stitches? Am I right on my stitches? So I'm constantly questioning myself. Maybe after I get to the sleeve separation, it'll be a little less driving me crazy. But, right, this now is Arkansas Yarn Co. Yummy Plush Base in the colorway Mint Condition. And this is in my Oh Wow bag. I'd gotten this many years ago from La Bien Amie. These bags are no longer on the website. I link below to the Oh Wow Instagram account because they don't have a website to purchase bags, but they always post where their bags are at, different yarn stores that you can get them from. So every yarn store has completely different bags, but I love this bag. It has 2 big, generous pockets in there. So, all right, the last thing I am working on is my baby blanket. And this monster, I still love it. I'm still going to get it done. But I just heard from the person who is pregnant, and she told me when the baby shower is. And I freaked out a bit in my head. I'm like, there's no way this is getting done before then, because this thing is big. And I say it every time, but I don't care who tells you, oh, that's a breeze. It's super thick yarn with big old needles. It'll go super fast. Maybe for you, but for me, that is so uncomfortable on my hands. I literally do about 2 or 3 rows at a time on this thing. And then my hands are like, nope, done. Does not feel comfortable. I love the patterning. I'm going to finish this. But this friend of mine has many, many knitting friends. And I know they're not going to be in want of any knitting or crochet items because all the friends are making things. So, friend, I know you watch this, and I'm sorry that this is going to be after your shower. It's going to, imagine it being a lay down on the floor baby playtime blanket, but it is coming. I'm going to knit something else for the shower because this, I almost feel like I need to do a 30 minutes a day for this thing just so I'm constantly working on it. Like I said, love the pattern, love my friend, but yeah, big needles, big yarn. I don't know why I do this to myself. I always think, yes, that will go so fast. No, it totally will not for me. It will not. But I know what else I'm going to knit, which I've knit in the past before, will be fast, be done. This blanket, probably not done by the shower. So that is the in the woolly bean bag, and the pattern is called Envol. I'm using Lion Brand Hue and Me color Haze. All right, so that is all of my current whips. So let's get into spinning next. So I'm gonna stand up real quick if I can move back far enough. Last time I was working on this beautiful bat from Gritty Knits, which was my first month of my fiber club, which was December. And that is it. That is both of them on here. This is my Lazy Kate, which makes it easier to apply together. So after I finished those, I thought about applying them together, but then I remembered I had this in my stash. I had gotten this during the yarn crawl last summer. Oh man, and the name just came out of my head, and I will put it on the screen and link below. The one in Arkadelphia. Fiber Universe? Is that right? Okay. But this is, and I can't find the band either for this, and I just took it off the other day. So I started spinning this. This is from Sweet Georgia. It is a BFL. This is pretty much the very first pretty fiber I bought after I started spinning. This is before I got my e-spinner. So literally I was just using a spindle. And I had heard from certain people that BFL is good for beginners because it's grippy. I hate spinning BFL. Now, I don't know why that is. Like I said, I'm still very new. I'm definitely not a technical spinner, knowing all the ins and outs. I just enjoy the spin. I know how to spin, ply, finish. That's it. I don't know all the grist and the angle and all those things. I'm trying to learn, but right now I'm just spinning. So I did split this in half because I have 2 bobbins of that other one. So I did spin up half of this. And if you notice here, you can tell I have a hard time spinning this BFL. it's just a lot more thick and thin. It's not great. I love the color. I think it'll be great, but I kind of wanted to make that other beautiful blue go a little farther. If I just apply those together, there won't be very much. So I thought I would bead 2 bobbins of this and then ply it with that, and it'll be a chunkier yarn and that'll be fine. But I'm hoping that combining this with that will be a nice, they'll play with each other nice, and they'll make me not as mad at this. So I still have half left to spin, so I hope to get on that, because in another week I'll be getting February's box. So, and I still have this other fiber up here that I want to play with. So that is it for spinning. Now let's get into acquisitions. I have a few, not a crazy amount like last time. But I did mention that I was in Texas visiting friends, and every time I go to their house, their local yarn store is Park Avenue Yarns. I love Park Avenue Yarns. If you've been here a while, you will remember affectionately what I call the 5-ear sweater, because the owner there does dye yarn, but not a lot. So it took me 5 years to acquire a sweater worth quantity of the yarn I want, the sweater idea I wanted. So I made sure to bring that sweater with so I could show the finished object sweater, which I finished last year. So I went shopping there, and I didn't buy too much. So what I did get is some Moki yarn. I have heard about this. I have wanted to try this, and they were clearancing it out. So it was on sale, and I picked the color that they had the most skeins of. I don't know what it'll be yet, but I got 4 skeins of this, and it says color 3225. I don't know what colorway that is, but it's a nice light gray with just some pretty pops of color. So I got 4 skeins of this because I could not resist when it was on clearance. And the other thing I got was 2 skeins of this. This is Menos del Uruguay in the Milo base, which is merino and linen. And last year I made the staple linen tee by Joji Locatelli. I made it in Lori's yarn. She has a linen blend, and I really enjoyed that top. And I saw this with a linen content in it, but with merino, and it feels so nice. And I, of course, love this color. So I got 2 skeins of this because this is 380 yards. So 2 of these, I could make another staple linen top very easily because there's no sleeves on that. I could make it longer if I wanted to, or just kind of take an outline of that and not do like the panels, and just knit like a linen no sleeve garment would be awesome. So yeah, that is all I got, you guys. I feel like that's pretty good considering. And then yesterday, I got my February box. Usually I don't show this in acquisitions. I show it when I'm making my blanket, but I usually get my yarn before the first of the month when it gets sent out, because we do the unboxing and then I edit the video by the time people get their boxes. But we had some icy weather here in Arkansas, so it had to be delayed a few days before I got there. So I just got it yesterday. This is called Let's Give Them Something to Talk About. And I always get the sparkle base, which is a 75 merino, 15 nylon, 10 stellina, 437 yards. So of course it's blue, which is my jam. That's going to go into my blankets. And yeah, that is it for acquisitions. So let's see what else we have. Acquisitions. the other thing we'll talk about, it's the first podcast of the month, so let's talk goals. So, as always, I like to share my yarn in and out. I refuse to go on a yarn diet or whatever, no buy, because that is unrealistic. But I always want my goal to be, just here on out, that by the end of the year, I would like to have more out than in, but definitely at least even. I don't want to have more yarn come in than came out of my life. So I always count full skeins, either 50 grams or above, 50, 100 grams, whatever, counts as one skein. I don't count 20 skeins, I don't 20 grams, I don't count minis. And then I don't count it as out until either I have, for instance, like when I finished my sweater, yes, I had some left over, but it's out because it's just scraps. But I don't count it until I'm either done knitting or done with the ball. I don't count it as out when I start my sweater because I never know I'm going to actually use all the skeins, because sometimes I'll have a whole skein left. So I literally count it the second it comes in, and I count it as out the second it goes out. So for January, I had a lot of yarn in. If you watched the last podcast, I had 28 skeins of yarn in January, but I had 11 skeins out, so that's not bad. And the 10 of those skeins are for a project I'm about to start, which is a cardigan. So I'm getting ready to cast that on, so hopefully I'll start using through those pretty quick. And some of those, even like these ones for giveaway, these counts as skeins in because they're in my possession. Until I get the person's address and they go out, then it'll be 2 skeins out. So that's not too bad. I knew that it was a pretty big yarn month. But I know that'll taper down now that I have things to work on with those things. So my month goals for January, let's see. My month goal was to finish my rocket tee, which I'm pretty sure I've worn since then. I finished that. My other goal was to finish my DK socks, which I did not finish that, but I'm about to finish that. Probably Monday. That'll be what I finish. My goals for February is to finish the DK socks, be done, no problem. Finish my Night Owl socks, which is my current whip, my old whip that I'm working on. And then finish this spin and then ply these blues together, get them caked up as yarn. And that's also when I finish plying, washing, and I've made a skein of my own yarn, that counts as yarn in. That was the other 5 skeins that came in my life last month, was 5 skeins I finished from plying, which is awesome. So, those are the only goals I have right now. And then start on my Lamana cardigan, which Arkansas Yarn Co. is hosting a make-along right now for knitting or crocheting cardigans. And so I will be making my Lamana cardigan. You've seen me wear a Lamana on the podcast that I, borrowed from the store. Lori let me take home and borrow for a few weeks because I just love it so much. So she had special dyed me 5 skeins each of graphite in the sparkle base and the Surrey base. So I will be making that cardigan. I think it is obviously, fingering weight held with Surrey, but I think it'll go fast because I want that so bad. It will go with everything and be fantastic. And I need more cardigans in my life. So I'm excited to start that. So yeah, that's my goals, future intentions, and I'm pretty sure that is it. Yeah, pretty sure that's it. So, thank you so much for being here. Thank you if you've stuck along to the end of this podcast. I'm happy you're here. Please feel free to go on my Ravelry and introduce yourself there. Comment below, share, like, subscribe, pass it along to your friends. Make sure you also follow my videos with Lori. Each month I post a video of our unboxing of her Sock Yarn Society Club. We also talk about our blankets and just get goofy, and we draw for prizes, and we just have a good time with each other. So please watch those too. So thank you for being here. I hope you are all staying warm, cozy, and safe right now during the winter time if you're in the northern hemisphere. And I will see you in 2 weeks. See you later. Bye.